So it's the time of year where we start mowing the grass, so I always just mow just the other side of the fence. It's meant to stop it creeping in along with the meat mat, but it doesn't really work. I'm sure it makes a bit of a difference, but even so, what I'm trying with my compost turners this time is putting that grass clippings in the compost turners, because obviously it's full of nitrogen, and the problem when you make a big pile of grass clippings is that it stagnates and sinks and compresses all the air compresses all out of it, and then it goes rotten. So I thought by putting it in the turners, I'll constantly be able to keep spinning it and keep it aerated. These turners, if you're not familiar, have got air holes in the sides. And then what I've also done, just to give it a bit more carbon, is I've gone over the side of or the edge of an old wood chip pile with the lawnmower as well, and I've put a load of those really fine old leaves and wood chip, it's really brown material in with this. I've probably done it about 50-50, although it doesn't look like it because the last thing I put in was grass, but you dig a bit down and you can see some of the old wood chip in amongst the grass. So I'm going to shut that up, give it a spin to mix it up nicely. Oh, that's a great example. Look, that's the old wood chip, really fine brown, and then you can see the other side I've spilt some green. So yeah, about a 50-50 split. I'll give it a spin and let that start cooking. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new around here, my name's Alex. This beautiful place is the Essex Allotment farm, where I grow commercially for my veg box service, for my farmers markets, and some local chefs. Speciality stuff for chefs, not doing any major wholesale, but you'll have seen today that I've been doing a little bit of tidying around the edges, that I am topping up the compost turners again, and then I've started in the last couple of days to create an area where my outdoor climbing tomatoes are going to go. So we're at the top of block C, for those of you who are familiar with my layout, and I've put the large posts in, 1.5 metre posts, about 4 metres apart. And what I'll do is get some extra long pieces of bamboo to go from across the tops, and then string line them using clips, and that will give them the foundation they need to climb up. Yes, they'll probably climb a little bit higher than this, but by that point they'll be so strong and secure that it doesn't really matter that they'll come a little bit above the support. They can do their own thing after that. Anyway, so I've started doing that just here to create a nice walkway, and I think, judging on the amount of tomato plants, I'll show you quickly, sort of here, let me leave some space on the screen here, me potting them up yesterday, I think I'll probably end up having to go into a third bed here for the climbing ones, and then I've probably got enough for about 2 or 3 beds of bush variety. The reason I've done it early is it's way too early to put tomatoes out yet, is because I want to put, you can just about see, a catch crop either side of where the tomatoes are. So I don't want these beds just sitting dormant until the tomatoes go in. So you can see just where the texture, all the way along the edge, the texture of the soil changes, that I've used the yang to put in some catch crops. So just some, in this one here, radish, and then a couple of rows of carrots down here because the ground is quite light and fluffy, and I've watered those this morning. So yeah, all good in the hood. And when I say the hood, I mean the tomato hood. I'm 35, I live in England. Why am I using the word hood? Idiot. The amazing bit of news that I've had yesterday, so what's today? Today's Wednesday. Tuesday afternoon I got a phone call, and as well as yesterday getting the compost dropped off that you saw at the beginning of the this YouTube video, you will have seen Yeah, sorry, let me spit it out. Right, start again. I had some fantastic news. So not only did I get a compost, the field's dry enough for the compost to get delivered, but at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I received a phone call from the wood chip guy. Cue the dramatic music. So yeah, got myself some wood chip, which is actually fantastic news because I can go back to wood chipping my paths, which are desperate to be wood chipped, which you talked about in the last one, because last vlog, because the little baby annual weed seeds are starting to germinate, and I can see them dotted around in my paths and the edges of my beds, and I want to smother those out, give them a quick hoe and smother the light out so that I can stop that before it becomes a bigger issue. And as I said in the last vlog, I'd resorted to using straw to do that, which brings all its own problems. And anyway, yeah, I sound like a broken record. So the great news is that I can go back to wood chip and stop using straw. So yeah, great news. We are up in the very end block, block F, where yesterday I took some of the fencing down in the corner. The very beginning of the vlog, you'll have seen I got a compost drop off, and so with that compost I started my no dig potatoes. I'm going to just quickly talk you through the process and how I plan to do the potatoes, and why I've chose this block to do it in. First of all, I've never grown in this area of the farm. It's brand new ground. We broke it about 10 vlogs ago, maybe about 2 months ago in real time, not vlog world, and it is really heavy clay soil, of which I broke the top 2 inches with a tilfer. And there's an old sort of farmer's, gardener's bit of advice that says if your ground is terrible or your soil is terrible, grow potatoes in it, because not only will those potatoes break it up, but they're good at finding the nutrients that is in your soil. How true that is, I don't know, but the first 5 beds of this block here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to put across to potatoes. And let me show you and talk you through the process of how I'm doing that no dig or no till style. So you might be sat there going, well, it is tilling because you've tilled the top inch of the soil. Well, I've broke new ground, and as always on this farm, when I break brand new ground, I till the top couple of inches, and then that'll be the last time or the only time that this ground's ever been tilled or dug over or anything like that. And then from this point on, or from this point on, the principles of no dig or no till, even above and beyond that, about looking at soil biology, soil microbe activity and all that kind of thing, kicks in. And the way I like to farm, which is predominantly regeneratively kicks in. So that's where my potatoes become part of the no dig process. So you'll have seen from that little clip yesterday, and you know, when I did the first bed, over the last 2 weeks I've done these 2 beds here. So we've got bed 1 and bed 2, and the process is really simple, as you'll have just seen. I give the ground a bit of a rake. In this bed here I used a bulb planter, but I realised that wasn't necessarily important. And so in this bed here, I just laid the seed potatoes on the surface. I put down some chicken manure pellets in both beds. I put the potatoes on the surface and I gave them a real thick layer of compost. Additionally, once I've let that compost settle in this one, because we're 2 weeks ahead with this bed, I've then got some of my broken down, well, it's not that broken down, it's about 3-4 month old rabbit manure bedding, which is hay, wood shavings, rabbit manure, and rabbit urine, and that's been out in the compost bins, the first lot of compost bins that I made for the rabbit manure, and I've put a layer of that on top to add some nutrients to it. And all I will do now is continue to layer these beds as and when I start to see the potatoes come through. So effectively you're earthing up like the old way of doing potatoes, but I'll be using different materials, not just compost to earth up. And I was kind of inspired to do this by a vlog from Liz Zurab on By the Farm. So she is growing potatoes, and she's just growing them on the turf. So she's putting a tiny bit of compost down in little piles on the turf. She's putting her seed potato on the top of that turf, and then she's covering it with hay and straw. And it really got me thinking about what to earth up or block out the light for these potatoes as they grow, and how I can then use that to add loads of nutrients and organic matter into these beds. So I'm growing potatoes and adding manure and nutrients and soil life and microbial activity all into these beds at the same time. So rather than creating all these beds one and then planting potatoes in them once I've done it, I'm doing the whole process at once. So I'm growing no-dig potatoes and adding all that benefit to the soil for the seasons to come. So I'm effectively killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So thanks, Liz, for putting that video up. It's really got me thinking, and like I said, once it's got that big thick layer of compost, I'll probably go with earthing up with just the rabbit manure and rabbit bedding, which will be a little bit different, but like I said, it's in loads of times in previous vlogs, it's a resource that I've got absolutely tons of, and it's really high in nutrients, and where I've left it out, it's really high, or it's getting higher in microbial activity. It's got coffee grounds in it where I've mixed it in the compost bin, so yeah, it can't do any harm, and it'll act as that compost mulch to grow my potatoes in. So that's the plan. And like I said, I plan to do 3 more beds. What I forgot to say is, in this bed here is the first of my Charlottes, and then this I picked up just a random bag of 2.5 kilos of pink fir apples, pink fir apple potatoes, and then I'll do 3 more beds of Charlotte. Charlotte is the potato that I'm predominantly growing, but everyone kept raving about the pink fir, so I've given those a go. Yeah, so the next job in the coming days is to string up the next 3 beds, give them a rake over, chicken manure pellets, lay the seed potatoes down in the bed, push them down into the soil, cover with a thick layer of compost, and then use the rabbit bedding as a mulch to grow them in. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's vlog. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up. It helps my channel grow. Subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.